You online?
Yeah, I'm about to go on in a minute.
You opening your office?
Hold on.
So we can definitely tell Sky Chasing Beats. You can definitely tell that the algorithm there is not on my side. The bar we should deal. Got a little topic today. You know, I've been seeing, I don't know, have y'all been seeing like there's a number of, yeah, I guess you could call them kind of YouTube documentaries that's out right now. And you know, many of them is speaking on the law, justice, and 5%. Has anyone been checking those out? Or am I the only one? Am I the only one taking time out to 85, 84. Am I the only one that's I don't know what the word for it is. But you know, spending some time checking that out. Did you get a chance to see any of those, Dubois? Like it's all the way to there was what's going on my screen. Trying to see if y'all can even hear me. Yeah. Everything right. Simple. I'll be with you in just a moment. I needed a couple minutes to let the Wicked I Miss crew get in here anyway. Hit the like button. Give it a trim, T-trim so they can know we in here. Like you said, algorithm shows the Random Truth channel no love.
See, yes.
Whew. All right. We back. I don't know what happened, but we need to take some time to get all this technical stuff correctly. So, what you say here? Dubois is on the plane. All right. Headed back home. Shaganui said you didn't see him yet. We had to go back and edit this down. We'll edit this down to, I guess, take that first 24 minutes out. Luke Cage, what's the deal? It's K Ram Allah. So K Ram Allah said came across a video on YouTube. However, the author of the video did not call the father by his proper name. Carbon Universal. God. So you said you came across it and you noticed that the creator of the video didn't you said didn't call Allah by his proper name. Because even the father, that's not his proper name. But so what did you think of that? Which one did you see, by the way? Because there's actually a couple. Like I actually saw one today that was it was to the level where it was actually a person was on there claiming to know personally the individual who shot her up. But just in general, those kind of things like that, that's kind of what, just in general, when you listen to it, see, because for me, it's interesting, right? Whether the person calls Allah by his name or not, right? To me, it's interesting because I only have one experience with knowledge. Meaning, I got the knowledge, right? I didn't follow a fad into it. Of course, you can never have, understanding is still growing right now. See, it's always going to be, levels of growth and development you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? But, when I came into the knowledge, like I said, I wasn't following a fad where I then had to figure out why I made that decision. There was still understanding to grow and development, like I said, to grow and develop, based upon my growth and development in knowledge, of all things in existence. But, what's interesting in these videos, first of all, is that they're very one-sided in that there's no one speaking in the vast majority of these videos that, we really know. Like, there's a couple people, but even those are like interviews that you pull from whatever other place. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you ask the person about Allah in respect to your documentary or whatever it is that you're making. and they gave you this answer. You know what I'm saying? So in that respect, it's a little bit, it's a little bit odd. But what's interesting for me, like I said, is that I never get the, I don't really get the outside view that much. In terms of, how other people see us and what it is that we do. So that's a question, K-Ran, because see, this is the type of thing that, I think is it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? That you got to recognize this much, that that's a product of how y'all want to do this. I'm well known on record, right? That look, I prefer the old way, mouth to ear. You know what I'm saying? When we move together, right? We know who we are and we know who everybody else is. But in this new thing you got a guy coming around here now, right? He's from France. You got a lot of people, people who's coming over here to meet him to do interviews. Now, I'm not saying that is wrong with that, but I'm just saying that I recognize that that is what goes along with that. Is that just like that, you gave up the narrative. So see, that's why I never talk to these people. From going back, Michael Muhammad Knight, and all those books, if there's a quote in there for me, that's something they heard that I said because they wasn't around me and I wasn't around them. But this is the type of thing that, okay, now, like you said, you know, he refers to Allah by his wisdom name. But here's the thing. See, even when you say the Father, right? He didn't call the Father by his proper name. Do you know I get offended when people like you he's not your father. Like to hear other people say, yeah, the father, this, the father, that, the father. It's not your father. Like if the ice cream truck comes over here, right? And I go up to my father to get $1, right? You go to your father, see, because this is not your father, man. See, if he give you some money, now that might cut into my money, and this is not your father. So by the same token, what I'm saying is this: the person who created that video, would you consider him one of us? You see, if he's not one of us, and he doesn't know what we know, right? He doesn't understand what we understand, then how can we hold him responsible for that when we know the knowledge born degree and the wisdom out of cipher degree in the 1 and 40? See, I know what people say. Look, right now, if you go down to the DMV, what name they call you by? But see, you know that these people they don't know what's going on. So that's one thing that, I did understand that part, right? In terms of you saying he didn't call him by his proper name, right? Okay, now look, what about this though? You didn't mention, what about the inaccuracies that was in it? Did you catch any of those? But first of all, can I ask you which one did you see? Because I was actually, I'm gonna show, I'm gonna do the clips where we watch the clips and we kind of critique it because there were some things in it. To see, while a lot of the people that were speaking in the video, uh, they were speaking on things that they saw as the shortcomings of the 5%. But in the midst of them telling their story, right, they revealed that, while depending on how you look at it, maybe you do look at that as shortcomings. But he also showed and proved how it was our strong point. Are you still visiting? Okay, right. The fire alarm. Uh, you said if you got the knowledge in the 90s, it's calling a lot of father wrong. I mean, if he's not your father, he's not your father. If it's, in all reality, look, put it like this, right? Do you call all of the people, like for instance, let's say you got the knowledge in the 90s, right? Do you call the person you got the knowledge from in the 90s the father? Because everything being real, that's who furthered your education. See, a person has to have the well-trained third eye to really understand what we're saying. Because see, if you're only telling people, right, about a man that returned to the essence in 1969. And you're telling us that based on his power, right, that things are supposed to happen, then we might as well go back to saying that, pray to somebody from 2,000 years ago. So that's why it's a fine line of understanding when you call him the father. He's the father of the nation. You know what I'm saying? He's the father of this culture of manifesting the knowledge and wisdom. But let's be clear. The first degree tells us that we are the father. So that's where it is a fine line. What you're saying right there is not is that's a fine line of understanding, right? Because see those people that was there at that time, those was his 5%. And see those people that was there at that time, they had their 5%. And those people had their 5% all down the line till it got to us. And now we all got to have our 5%. I don't know where yet.
How much you pull the stores?
Probably about 50.
That got all these, what the hell is all this wrong, man?
You over there, buddy? How I know it's flying over there?
Yeah, I can fight you, please.
I'm gonna do some-
That put the pictures in here, why?
We need frames.
These frames no good?
What did I say? Yeah, nah, they are taped up.
How much the frames cost?
I don't know. Get it on your Amazon.
Okay, you gotta tell me the size of the pictures you want.
All right.
Yeah, broke the frames, it seems like it.
I don't know where they got these. So that's a particular science right there, what you saying, right? But now getting back to K-Ram. K-Ram, do you want to come on? Let me put the link back here, right? And I don't know if you got a chance to really, because sometimes that happens, right? Where like you start watching something and then it's like, you know, it's kind of, you know, you almost kind of start taking a disrespectful shit, and it's like I don't even want to finish watching this. That happens. But how far did you get? How far did you get into it? Did you get to the brother? And like, shout out to the brother. I don't, you know, we're not here to manufacture no beef, but just specifying that he was the one that said that. You know, did you get to the part with the brother Minister Hawk?
You going to class, Dorkin?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to bother you going to class.
Did you get to that part? Which one did you said you saw one too, Luke Cage? Which one did you see? Anyone there? Anyone there still? Which one did you see? Well, while we're waiting for you to draw that up, you said I got to the part where the brother was speaking about speaking to Allah during the sermon on that mountain. Well, that's what y'all call it, the sermon on the mountain. Oh, hold on. Let me I'm gonna hook this up where you can come in. But is that what y'all call that? The sermon on the mount? Like, is that something new? Because I just call it the first rally. I didn't know. I didn't know that you know, it had a whole name with a mystique like that. You know, so uh that would be the Minister Hot part. So did you hear him say, well, hold on, let me try to get you in. Try to get you in the pocket here. Hey, y'all remember the brother, what was the brother's name? Remember he sent me the video with him doing like some type of like kung fu with a knife or something? I'm trying to find the code to get you in. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the code right there. As soon as you get in, we can get to the griddle. Shaquem. Well, let me know when. Let me know when you. All right. This is your. You in? All right. Peace.
Peace, God.
So, get this. Set up. All right. So, you said you got to the part where he described himself coming to the first rally. Now, look, that's a good example of something what I'm saying, right? And look, I wouldn't argue with him, right? Out of the simple fact that I wasn't even on his physical plane then, so that's not something that I would really argue with him about. But I will say this. There's people alive right now that gave me a little bit different account of that day. You know what I'm saying? But what did you think about his journey before that, though? I think that was important, or it's something important, for a lot of people if you're just coming into the knowledge, right? Of seeing if this is for you. But what did you think about? Like, did you hear the part when he said how he originally got the knowledge?
The brother that said he went to that he came up to Mount Morris Park.
Right.
I don't remember that part. I remember the brother saying that he was a manager at the restaurant, and he wanted to be Muslim. He wanted to be a Muslim. He wanted to be a minister. So he had to decide whether he wanted to be a manager at the restaurant or a minister. That's the last.
In the beginning, he said that his experience was that his cousin came out of jail and said that we're God, and that you got to study these lessons right here. And he said that that's how he got the knowledge. That he started studying the lessons. He called some names. He named some names. You know, he named Black Seed, Chef God, you know. Now, I don't know if he was talking about a different Black Seed or whatever, because he's kind of just rattling off names. I'm not sure. But at any rate, you know, right there, his experience diverges from mine. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody comes and just says, you know, we're God, study these lessons, and he starts studying, you know, like that's in the right there in the beginning. We're having a different experience. So see now, look, this is keeping it hundred with you. You know, for some of y'all people that, yeah, y'all just experienced one thing. Yo, I heard a Wu-Tang record, and now I think I'm a 5%. I think I'm God. I think I'm Earth because you know I have the whole brand new catalog, and that's it. There was really no knowledge there to really spark no wisdom. So right there in the beginning, it's like, yeah, you know, we having a little bit different experience here. Now, one of the things he points out, you know, and he speaks on this a lot, you know, and it's always one of the main things he wants to point out is to say that, you know, we lack discipline. You know, and anytime he speaks on this, he never, you know, kind of forgets to mention that when he was a 5%, he smoked weed.
So he's omitting information.
Huh?
So he's omitting information.
Not omitting. He's always saying things. I mean, see, well, this is the thing about those the documentaries that I saw so far is that they're very one-sided. You know what I'm saying? You know, most of the people that I see speaking on there, you know, I wouldn't say necessarily they have an axe to grind against us. You know what I'm saying? But they're clearly, you know, they're not proponents of what it is that we do and what it is that we teach. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he mentions that, right? So, you know, that's another thing that you know, I guess is kind of a perspective thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, where I'm coming from in the 85% world, right? This is discipline in comparison. You understand what I'm saying? Me, like if you know, was you know, you wasn't getting in any kinds of trouble, you know, you know, then I guess you could say that, you know, but for me that, you know, I had to learn, you know, some levels of civilization in terms of, you know, how I treated people outside, you know, but I was around certain people. That's another thing, the experience that he's having, everybody's kids, right? But remember my experience, yeah, I'm around kids, but I'm around firstborns too. So, you know, yeah, people is asking me, you know, Dumont is asking you, yo, how you did in school? You know, Dumont is giving out money, right? If you bring your report card to school and you know your grades is good enough, you could get money. You know what I'm saying? Full disclosure, I never brought my report card. Not one time. You know, but you know, there's that.
So
Say it again.
I said, so let me ask you a question. So comparing to the brother's experience, when I was a young teenager, I asked this brother who was a friend of the family. He was from Brownsville. I live in East New York. So I asked him about it. His response was, you need to leave that alone. That's a game. As we had further conversation, what I drew up from it, he was speaking from a place of trauma because certain individuals that he ran into when he was young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I always ask. That's most of the time, that's my personal opinion, I should say, of a lot of people that say this stuff is they people that met guys and didn't have a good experience one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, it's not per se maybe that they have an axe to grind. You know what I'm saying? But they not proponents of what we teach, like I said. You know what I'm saying? Now, and this is the stuff that he's saying. You know what I mean? I'm just it's in the documentary, and this is just what I drew up from what he was saying, right? Another thing that he says about his experience and having the knowledge, right, is that he said that when he has the lessons and whenever he looks at the bottom of the lessons or the top of the lessons, whatever he said he always sees W.F. Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad did. So he said that, he was immediately intrigued, like, yo, who are these guys? Right? And again, different experience for me. When I saw, I saw their name on the lessons, the same question, but with different emphasis. Yeah, who are those guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he would have came to ask me who those guys were, who are you? It wasn't, the knowledge that I was getting, the knowledge and wisdom that I was getting from the brothers that was right around me is what I was, gaining an understanding of. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who wasn't, right here, we got to talk to them. We got to talk to them when we see them. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever time, but it didn't, I definitely wasn't as intrigued as him. You know what I'm saying? And so, for me, like I said, the knowledge degree in 1 to 10 is my favorite degree. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw that, what intrigued me was that, so, my real journey was to, learn, who, how do I manifest this degree right here? You know what I'm saying? Not who is somebody else and how they manifest. You know what I'm saying? And so he goes on to say that, eventually there's a Muslim brother who they meet and he brings them to the mosque, and the cipher that he's in, some of them go into the mosque, some of them remain 5%. And he speaks about how him and that group of brothers and sisters that he came in with, right, that they were the first young people that went into the mosque that wasn't born in the NOI. You know what I'm saying? And he goes on to talk about his experience there. Like you said, he talks about his experience of coming to the rally. You know what I'm saying? But then he gets to a part right? We're gonna go back a minute to where I said, he always makes it a point whenever he speaks on us to speak about lack of discipline, right? And now we got to kind of deal with a little bit definitions here, I think, right? Because he gets to the point of 1975, and he talks about how, when in 1975, when Elijah returns, right, that, verse, well, whatever order he puts it in, but, he spends some time following War of Dean. Then he spends some time learning from a Middle Eastern guy, and he spends some time, just kind of in the world and hearing different things, Elijah's physical brother is supposed to be doing something, and then eventually, coming to the part that you was talking about, he talks about how when Farrakhan, starts, his NOI, that then, he's like, all right, boy, this is what I want to do over here. He starts going over there, and then, like you said, managing the stores, becoming a minister, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So here's my question, right? Is discipline fear of a penalty, right? Or is discipline the ability to adhere to a principle, right, under any and all circumstances?
Yeah,
Meaning, if you don't steal when the police is around, right? You steal all the other time, but you don't steal when the police is around. Can you then say you're not a thief? See, let's contrast that, right? Let's contrast that with what happened, right, in 1969. Yeah, we took a hit. We had to catch our balance back. You see, everybody knew what to do. See, when everybody picked up, everybody got on their square and started doing what had to be done. See, when the law says, listen, after this year, you're going to have to do this. You see, after this is how it's going to be. See, when I'm not here, y'all going to have to do this. Now, is the people who can follow that, right? The people who can adhere to that, right? Do they truly have less discipline than people who fall apart as soon as the leader goes down?
in regard to that directly, when he talks about discipline, as you were saying, if many of them went astray when Elijah Muhammad returned, were they truly disciplined for something that they wanted to do? Or were they just a following.
Or was they just followers? And see, that's the difference. See,
Did they adhere to a principle?
We could all hear the same word. And in some of us, right, it sparks that leadership.
Because if a principle is a principle, why were they in a whirlwind of which way to go, whether it been Elijah Muhammad's son, Farrakhan, or somebody else, if a principle is a principle for them?
Yeah. They don't know what
they already had their principle.
They don't know what the principle about, right? That's why they have to remain followers. See, if you didn't get the message, right? All right, hold on for a second. Look, just stay pious. Mothership's coming. Cause you miss what you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. It's if you didn't see it, it's you don't have that vision. But here's another thing though that he says, right? You know, and he talks about how instrumental he was in what Farrakhan did, right? And so, you know, again, you know, because he's not the only one. Meaning he's not the only one who the history, you know, in all of this started right here. But see, because we wasn't followers, right, and we was practitioners, then when they needed to resurrect that, they had to come to us. It was people who had their history over here that was very instrumental in him building that back up. So see, to some degree, you know, it would seem to me that, you know, these different brothers would, you know, you would want to put some spec on Allah's name there.
And the brothers that helped them with their resurrection, that they came to using different words, not telling their exact true motive, or pushing the agenda, trying to draw brothers and sisters up from this nation to try to go with them.
Yeah, but see, listen, let me tell you something. There's some wool that they pull over people's eyes. Because see, when I got the knowledge, they was not bearing witness. Nobody bear witness to supreme mathematics except us. Everybody was saying that we made that up. And they really, really wasn't bearing witness to supreme mathematics. Because supreme alphabet, pardon. Because we saying on leg, on hey, right? I self Lord the Master. See, so these things that we saying, you know, they're not being witness to none of that. So when you see everybody now talking about building and, you know, 7 is God and 1 is knowledge and all of that, nah, man, he wasn't saying that.
Because I met a brother at the laundromat. I'm doing my laundry. This brother approached me. I just moved out to see Medina area. I'm doing my laundry. Brother walked by me. So you know when somebody walk by you, we pay attention. I seen the brother staring at me. So now I'm standing firm. He came back. I got a shirt just like that at my house. Well, I used to. When I was young, I was searching for discipline. So I was in between this and the NOI. You know, it's early in the morning. It's like the equality hour. So I'm like, brother, whatever you choose to do, you don't see it in you. It's just that simple. Well, it's the same thing to me. All right, brother. This
Yeah.
brother, same
Yeah,
age as my old dad. So he was in his mid-quality cyphers. This brother that approached me at the laundromat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, see, look, and now we get to the part, to the title, right? God and followers, man. Like, look, you gotta ask yourself, and it's not just in the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in terms of, you know what I'm saying, if you speaking to the young, right? If you speaking to the young, you know, you speaking to you know, whatever group of people, you know, you know, ask yourself, man, if you being a follower. Not just, you know what I'm saying, not if just because somebody else did something first, right? But are you doing it because they did it, or are you doing it because you weighed and judged it and you determined that, yeah, that's something that would be good for you too? Are you doing it for the fad and the fashion, you know what I'm saying? Or you know, is this really something that you know, you're going to internalize and live out? Because, you know, in reality, see, if you just want the salvation, right, go down to the mosque. Like, if that's what you really want, because see, that's the difference between God and the followers. Is that, you know, see, when you say who's the original man, right? Look, that means that it was no instructions. Nobody wrote the manual for that.
First had to go through trials and tribulations.
That yeah, because nobody was here before us to write that manual. But see, the people who, you know, you just want to be a follower, look, you gotta wait till we write the manual, and then you just live according to how we tell you to live. So, like, America is not like that, but in other countries, you know, the government got a religion, and you know, if you don't got that religion, you gotta live a certain kind of way. Peace.
The brother was telling me he did it for protection. That's originally why he got interested, for protection.
Right.
Brothers in Chicago.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, is that you got to look at it from the very beginning. When a person tells you why they got the knowledge. See, that's why a lot of the things you see people be like, yo, you know, yeah, I heard the record out there, get the fuck out of here. See, for me, these is not good reasons to get the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because it's one of the things where it's like, okay, yeah, you heard that person over there and they was talking and the sound or slick and everything, but see, you don't know what that person had to do to get where they at. Whether it's good or bad. So if you're just doing things based on, yo, you saw somebody else doing it, right? But, you know, you didn't draw no part of it up for yourself. See, that's the difference. You won't know what to do in a different time. See, that's one of the things that we do with mathematics, right? See, mathematics is we able to draw similarities. So like you can have a big square or a big triangle and a little triangle, right? Now, look, if you remember back to arithmetic and geometry, right? You had to have three things be alike, right? You could go angle, side, angle, or side, angle, side, right? And then you could say, yeah, these two, even though to the naked eye, this triangle is small and maybe it's turned this way, and this triangle is big and it's turned that way, right? But through the science of mathematics, right, you could draw the similarities, right? Now, see, in real life, yeah, you got situations where, okay, that happened 2,000 years ago, and people was riding donkeys. But with the science of supreme mathematics, now you could draw up how, all right, but yeah, that's the same situation, right? And these are the lessons that I could draw out of that situation and then apply them in this time. See, that's the signs we that's what I'm saying. See, the people that never get to there. See, like that's what the brother was saying. Like, yeah, we was doing certain things, we was quoting lessons, but you wasn't learning nothing from them. See, this is what we mean when we say, listen, man, if you got the knowledge and it don't bring about no change in you for the better, then you might as well leave it alone. It's not for you. You said you're gonna leave it open? All right. Yeah, I got it. Get everything squared away over there real quick. But see now, here's the thing what you said here. The truth was all right, yeah. But here's the thing, right? Let me ask y'all the question, right? For all those who you think I'm not talking to you, right? See, it said God and followers, right? Now I already know. Listen, everybody right here on this list right here, right? Y'all think y'all God, right? Y'all not the followers. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. But are you creating followers? Does anybody on here understand what I mean when I say, are you creating followers? See, because, I actually have that, people be like, man, you got to fly and die, man.
You mean that somebody just doing something because you told them to do it? Or they doing
also,
it, you doing it?
It's also though, you can stifle somebody's creativity, because see, in that same way, see, that type of discipline, right? When you just have overlords there that you're scared of, right? Or you don't want to serve the penalty or whatever, right? That kind of discipline is also it's a regimentation. You see what I'm saying? Are you sparking the creative power in the people that you teach? Hold on a second. Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? Are you stifling creativity, right? In the people that you teach. See, because look, here's the thing, right? All the rest of this is just fancy shit. Not fancy, let me not say like I'm doing it and but just saying that, look, bro, see, I'm giving you these some of the lessons that I wrote. Just when we here listening and I start talking about things that's not in the lessons, that's that. See, Elijah Muhammad, he wrote that down. That in the 1 to 10, that's certain things about the basics of who we are on the planet and the people and the different ideas and all of that and the parts of the planet where we at. But see, now we writing our history right now. We say you chose the best part for yourself. Where you rest at? Right? Some people on here, we got a few people on here that they started off in one state and then they moved out in another state. Or you might start out in one borough, you move now you in another borough. See, these are the lessons that you wrote. So see, are you showing the people how to write their own lessons? Or are you keeping them trapped in this lessons that's from another time that's not even a fucking time? So now they will never be able to use their creative power to solve no solutions right now. And they're going to be waiting for those motherfuckers to come back who you keep giving them their wisdom. See, all of our wisdom and understanding got to be used to save our own life. So see, when you saying, yo, yeah, this brother over there, they said, yeah, that brother's already, they didn't live that out. It's not saying that you can't say nothing that nobody else says, but see, are you renewing it or are you repeating it? Meaning you learn the science from a brother and now you applying it for success in your life, or you just sitting there repeating the story of what he did and what he said and when he said it and who was with him. And you know all those details, but you don't know nothing about being God. Like I said, the history is extremely important because the lessons that we need, right, to create solutions is right there. The mistakes that we need to avoid is right there. Like anybody that, you can look at any sphere of life right now, right? Like for instance, I look at the people and they taking a drug and see in my mind, it's like, yo, bro, I see it. Like I seen this before, man. This when that new shit like that come out, don't fuck with it, B. Listen, man, my real advice, don't fuck with no drugs. And nothing that came out after 1900. But see, the people today, they got there's people out there that got to learn that lesson over. There's some people that learned the lesson the last time, and they so yeah, of course, the history is important for you to know those things that happen, right? So you can capitalize on the positive things that you learn and eliminate the negative things that didn't do good. That's renewing history. You see, if you produce followers, they're not going to renew a damn thing. They're going to spend their whole motherfucking life repeating. We living in a time right now. I got certain motherfuckers, they don't know it. But in my own, when I see them coming on the block, like, yeah, this is Paul, this nigga here is Paul. This nigga here is Paul. When you come in and tell me, you know, I got people telling me, you telling me stories, right, that you got from somebody, that they got from somebody, about somebody that I work with. I've been in their house, they've been in my house, and now you here to tell me what it is. But now, here's the thing. You come to tell me what this person says. But then when I ask you to show and prove it, the only thing you can tell me is, oh, that person said it.
That don't prove nothing.
So see, now we've reached the religious point where it's right because the holy man said it. And see, when you're teaching like that, you're producing followers. You see what I'm saying? Because look, this is just one little thing. It's not one little thing, but let's be clear. See, getting back to what I was saying, see, all I can tell you really is that you got it. And see, just like I wrote my own lessons and I learned the things that, you know, I expand on here, you can write your own lessons and expand on your own shit. You don't need me. But that's the one thing. Okay. If I tell you the black man is God, right? I gave you that knowledge, but see, what's more important is what does that bring out of you? See, if our whole experience together is just me putting stuff into you and I don't never bring nothing out of you, then yeah, I created a follower. They have to be a follower. They don't have the power to do anything else. Because you never brought the ability out of them. All you ever did is show and prove your power to them. So in reality, when they walk around and tell them, they might as well say, my Lord and Master says this. My God says that. And see, here's the thing. Right? You're doing that and you think you got it, but you're not. Because see, if you was, you wouldn't have to create followers. See, I don't need a million people to tell motherfuckers nothing about me. See, that's why I say, look, with all this, everybody wants to, you want to do your movie, you want to write your book, you want to do all this. You understand? You see, me personally, no, I don't. What are these? What is the purpose? Like ultimately, you know, I understand people feel like, yo, we want everybody to know about the law, and we feel like if they had the knowledge, and I, like I said, man, see, the knowledge cannot cure. If you're schizophrenic, the knowledge can't help you. If you got asthma, the knowledge is not going to knock it out. Now, so, in terms of knowledge of healthcare things or whatever, in the application of that knowledge, right, you may be able to improve your situation. But there's nothing in the knowledge, right? You know, you somebody told me they did that. I don't think they got the job, right? But you know, most people don't put the 5% down on your job application. And if you do, I don't think it's I don't know if that's necessarily helping your cause. Said, is this the bill about inheriting something in 98? 98. Who inherited something in 98?
Most of the original people I work with, it was two of them.
Mm-hmm.
They put me on a HR survey saying that I was in a gang and promoting a gang in the workplace.
Mm.
However, when you say something, you speak on something, now you have to prove it.
Yeah.
They couldn't. They were just stuck there speaking out of trauma.
And see, I'm gonna tell you another thing what it comes down to, what you got to realize, because you know, you got a lot of people that it's like they be shocked, G. You know what I'm saying? But we just gotta live it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like people, you know, like, yo, man, now my daughter's getting ready to go for a doctorate, man. You know what I'm saying? My other daughter just graduated with a master's and shit. You know, she did shit in 5 years. Like, people wouldn't think that, yo, 5%ers got kids like that. Like, they don't, you understand what I'm saying? You gotta live it out. Because see, with a lot of people, right? And you gotta remember that as a nation, we just really reaching that kind of age. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of people's experience with us is as kids. Like, most people, like, you talking about they talking about brothers that they met in high school. You know what I'm saying? You know, brothers that they met when they was hanging out on the deuce. You know, and they're also speaking from a standpoint of, like I said, depending on the type of things that's lived out. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, yo, you know, if you see a group of you know, young white kids from the suburbs hanging out in the park, just saying the way people's perception is, you know, you probably think, oh, those kids over there playing soccer or something. You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to if you see a group of young black kids, you really don't have a whole lot of examples, you know, that's out there in the mainstream of how to comprehend this thing that you're seeing. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like I said, with environment, you know, say, yo, this man is walking around with a butcher knife. Yeah, but he works in a butcher shop, or he works in a supermarket in the meat section. You know what I mean? Like, he's, you know, that's another way to comprehend that scenario. You see what I mean? And so with a lot of people, they just have that, they was a group of young brothers that was sticking together, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, guaranteed, you know, we a nation within a nation. You know what I mean? So the greater environment that we was in, it was affecting us. You know what I mean? So, you know, you might seen us doing some of the same things, right? But you got to remember that these are people that never understood supreme mathematics, meaning they never even understood the words that we were saying. Like they couldn't make literal sense of the sentences that we were saying, right? So they never understood that part of it. You see what I'm saying? Like they never saw us studying lessons. You know, they never saw me going to the guy's house to return his book to him and shit. They don't know we read, G. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the things where you just gotta live it out, you know, and then what you'll find is that which that don't happen to me too much. You know,
The most receptive person in my family was my old earth, because she
yeah,
grew up in the 70s. So when I bought it to her, she was like, I know what that is. Them brothers used to walk me home.
right. You see what I'm saying? See, it all depends on the experience that people have. That's what I'm saying. Now, when you live it out, you know what I'm saying? And then, see, with them too, I noticed a lot of people, moms, be resistant. But see, your moms knows you very well. And so she's one of the first ones to detect the changes in you. You see what I'm saying? But
He defended me when my old grandnurse try to whoop me when my uncle came and told that story that I was in a gang.
yeah.
Because when she was in junior high school working the summer youth program in New York, she worked for the grassroots program.
You know, but like I was saying, over time, you know, you get to the situation where, you know, people would be shocked and be like, yo, you sure you're a 5%? You know what I'm saying? Like, even like I said, in terms of the numbers, when people say, yo, they don't see the 5% like they used to, is that we're not in the same place that we used to be. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna go up to the front of the high school and see me up there no more. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and uh, you know, there's a lot of things that in the nation, it did work out like that in terms of, look, you know, I did certain things so that, yeah, my kids ain't had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, just in terms of, you navigating the city and it's all these different things going on. But, my kids already got the knowledge. So they already a little bit more, on balance with, knowing which principles to keep. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, I got almost every set in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Come out of the house, right? But my sons never got involved. You see what I'm saying? Because they felt like, nah, I'm already, like, why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But that's one of the challenges of all of the people that's young right now that's gonna go on and live this out is what's greater than that, misperception is how are y'all gonna, get everybody to understand that this is not a rap group. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of those kind of things annoy me. When people come up to me and you trying to get me to kind of explain the knowledge to you in terms of music, you know what I'm saying? When, that was just entertainment. God, Sam Shabazz a lot.
I remember meeting, actually going around 5 percenters for the first time, and some of them looking at me with a funny look when I'm like, oh, I don't know what Wu-Tang is, because my mother, she listened to jazz. So she wasn't a fan of hip hop. My old dad, I mean, he listened to hip hop, but he was more into Kool Moe Dee, Grandmaster Flash. So he wasn't listening. You know, they grew up they went to high school in the 70s. So my old dad, he ain't really get into too much of the 90s hip hop. He's one of them older men that was just like, nah, I ain't messing with that.
Right.
I'm more listening to, I'm like, yo, I like Kool Moe Dee. My friends looking at me like, what the F is that? That's whack. So when I meet other folks and they're like, yo, you ain't listen, you don't know about this? I'm like, yeah, that's just not my cup of tea. That wasn't played in my household. So it's not registering in my ears.
Yeah. You know, all of that is a part of, you know, what teaching is gonna be like now. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like what you're saying, like, see, back then, you know, everybody's from New York, at least that I'm being exposed to. You know, there's brothers from New Jersey, Connecticut, but that's all still, they influenced by New York culture. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, now, you know, you got people from all different places. Like the other day, it was about 7 or 8 of them, right? Some young brothers, they was from Yemen. And so they, you know, they see the school right there, you know, I say a lot of schools. So they come over here, yo, you know, what's this about? You know, so, you know, me, I know how to explain it. So I let them know, you know what I'm saying, what we was dealing with, you know. You know, they, you know, at the end, they was happy, you know, they shook my hand, said they was coming back, because, you know, I'm not holding back. You know, I'm not gonna pretend that, you know, I'm speaking about somebody imaginary when I say love. See, that's just really says a lot. It's cool. I say a lot. That's a lot right there in the picture. Now let's take it from there. But these are the type of things that you know, like what's your brother's name? The original Mr. 120, right? You know, his family background is from India, right? So they don't really, you know, he's of course got to know about Christianity from being in America, right? But those are just characters. You know, like when we hear about Hinduism and we hear about Shiva, so it don't strike us with all the same meaning when we hear, you know, Jesus and Moses and Jacob and these names that, you know what I'm saying, we grew up the whole time hearing, you know what I'm saying, that these names have been kind of, you know, invested with all types of emotion about what those words, you know, who those people are and what they represent and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're gonna have to teach those people too.
When I was residing down in Victory of Law, it was me and another brother that lived down there, Supreme Justice. We was in the mall, and a young brother walked up to us, and he was like, "Yo, I've been looking for y'all. Y'all down with 19 Keys?" And I laughed on the inside. I didn't want to laugh in the young brother's face and deter him, because that was a teaching moment. And I was
you know what's funny? Is this the second time somebody said, and I've seen like the brother's videos as I'm passing and listening, but I never watched it. You know, the whole time I thought that was one of Dr. York's sons.
I really don't know what the brother is, because he speak on so much different things. But he had an episode where he was trying to break down supreme mathematics like he knew. Mm-hmm. I just look at it as he just opened up the avenue for the young people to want to come to us to actually break it down, because when they ask him, he's not going to be able to provide that answer.
You see, I'm going to tell you something though. we got to be able to provide the answers mentally as well as physically. You know, that part gets left out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in the, you know, in the whole, you know, people critiquing who the 5% is and what we about. You know what I'm saying? It's that we didn't just provide talking. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, your mom said, you know, we walked her home. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we stopped riots. You know what I'm saying? A lot got kids that was locked up in jail into college. You know what I'm saying? You know, those is answers too. You see what I mean? It's like the difference between the algebra and the geometry. You see what I'm saying? Like most of when you in school, the arithmetic that you're learning is kind of theoretical until you get to geometry and trigonometry and all of these types of things where the manifestation of these ideas, right? These is how we build. This building right here, they got to use geometry. Certain shapes is stronger, you know what I'm saying, than certain other shapes. Certain shapes got certain properties in terms of, you know, the usefulness in us building, you know, and that's just one example, you know. So, you know, like I said, even in terms of, you know, you go different places and people say, yo, you know, that's a gang or whatever, you know, and then it just comes down to, you know, sometimes you see, for me, is kind of, that's just a byproduct of being me. You know what I'm saying? People don't really, you know, I would say 99.5% of people that's just walking past me in the street think they're smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? You know, just you know, I don't wear tuxedos. So you know, it's just one of those things where you know, when people first, they might be, oh, yeah, that kid over there, he's 5% or whatever, but you just gotta live it out. And you know, you gotta remember, some people is never gonna see. You know, like some people is gonna be dead against it.
It's like the brother that he ran with my old dad when they was in high school. I'm speaking to him about it because at the time I'm young, so I look at him as, you know, a father figure as well. He around the same age as my old dad, always around the family. Long story short, I asked him about it. He kind of brushed it off like I dealt with it because I was trying to get girls. Maybe not 70s. I just kind of left it alone because once I asked him about it, then he wanted to pad up his story and everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, and those is the things you always, you know, I found that consistent. That's always the story. Like I said, you know, that's the story of a follower. You know what I'm saying? There was another brother, and he was talking about his experience in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And how, you know, he was very, you know, he was on it, knowing 120 lessons and everything. But at a certain point, he said, you know, I never truly saw it for myself then. Like I never really, really, really thought I was God. And see, a lot of that comes from the fact that you never really, really left Christianity. And see, you know, see the last vestige that I've seen, that I've noticed, right? One of the last things, right, that some people apparently never get over, right, is the idea that God means a magical white man that exists in the sky.
I just told Born Savior, a barber told me on Friday, he won't cut my hair unless I come in there not wearing a university flag. Barber.
Wait, will you set your rest out again?
Out in C Medina.
In
I just moved
Chicago?
out. Yeah, I just moved out here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you gotta ask the bar. He's from out there. You know,
I spoke to the guard Power Born on the phone. I asked him,
yeah.
you know what, any other barbers out here. And I was telling him about him, like, the barber said he ain't cutting my hair. The barber spent the chair around, told me his whole story, gave me some nicknames, said, yeah, I'm from Queens. And, he was just like, I just didn't see what it could do for me. I'm like, that was your error right there. You was always a believer. Like you going to, what can it do for you? What can you do for yourself? That's the whole purpose.
Right.
I'm like, you still searching. You still always in search. You dissatisfied.
That's the religious aspect. That's what it means when they say, will you set up home and wait for a mystery God to bring you food? You understand what I'm saying? That they have that mentality that, look, I'm trying to get to the pearly gates and shit. Like, I'm trying to get to the less part of the suffering, right? If this suffering is a part of original sin and we all I'm trying to do the least amount of suffering and make it to the pearly gates and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Just show me the way to there. Now, if you actually got to do some work, right? This is where, just a lot of people, in terms of without that discipline, right? And when I say that discipline now, I'm talking about without that fear that the mystery God is going to strike you down or not allow you into heaven, right? If you don't believe that, will you still do what you're doing, right? Because this, when you look at the leadership, right, of Christianity, they clearly don't believe that shit. They wouldn't be doing what they was doing. They wouldn't be jerking people for their money. There wouldn't be no molestation. Just all the shit that you hear that's going on, right? If they really thought that, right, then that wouldn't be happening. And you see the same thing here, right? If people really, wanted to be righteous with their brothers and sisters, right? Then, why would they do? If you really, like, well, let's use a better example, right? If you really, was trying to be on point and you really internalize these principles, right? Would you walk around not knowing today's mathematics? Like, we're not talking about walking around, and you miss a word or a phrase or something. We're talking about you don't know today's mathematics. You talking about I ask you today's degree, you ask me what's today's date. See, because now all that other shit you talking is bullshit. See what I'm saying? Like, see, when we say, look, I see you in the mind, how the fuck I see you in the mind? And this whole day passed and you ain't even think about the knowledge. Like all the other shit you thought, traffic and shit, it's too much salt on the eggs and shit. Damn, she got a fat ass. You see a nigga rims. You thought about all that shit. You didn't thought negative about motherfuckers that ain't even thinking about you. Yeah, fuck that motherfucker, nigga. You talking shit about motherfuckers who don't even know you. Right? Before you thought about today's mathematics. See, if you really bear witness to what you was teaching, would you be doing that?
Absolutely not. That older brother told me he found more things important. So I told him, I said, brother, let's get to the foundation. If you found something, what's better What did you produce for yourself?
Mhm.
Brother said nothing. I told the brother, I said, listen, brother, the way I got it, you deal with things in accordance, the order of the day. That's the way I received it. Deal with the order of the day first. You deal with yourself before you step out your front door. That's how it always should be. So you don't have to be guessing what's next.
Yeah.
Brother said, I deal with a little bit of everything. I'm like, brother, that's not possible, brother. You all over the place. You in chaos.
See, I mean, you know, and that's always been there, you know what I'm saying, just in terms of you know, analysis of religion. But, you know, look, that's one of the things that, you know, the devil is the ultimate excuse kind of. You know what I'm saying? The devil is the ultimate you know, kind of crutch for lack of accountability. You know, and to tell you the truth, you know what? That's not even just religious, because that exists in the 5% too. With the devil, it's like just the ultimate excuse. It was the devil. The devil.
You talk about as in a brother or sister saying that the devil caused them to do something or something happened.
Yeah, that the devil caused them to do something, or the devil produced some obstacle, right, that caused you to not even attempt a solution. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing when you say, yo, man, you know, I went to school, you know what I'm saying? I graduated, you know, with a 3.5. You know, I went to college and shit, everything. You know, I got a degree. You know, I started in this company and shit, you know, whatever, you know, and then things didn't work out. That's different, right? From you saying, yo, because the white man, I'm just going to stand here on the corner popping pills and drinking. You see that? That's two different things and shit. You understand what I'm saying? One is you speaking on the situation, right? And if that was a part of the situation, then it was a part of the situation, right? Another is just you just making the excuse because you don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? And you know, it's easy to be a follower. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it's lucrative to be a follower. You know, people get things out of that. You get to just bask in the glow of this person right here that's doing something. You know, that's why a lot of people leave the 5%. Because see, when you go other places, right, they're not gonna ask you, yo, what's the third chapter in Genesis, second verse? They're not gonna ask you that, G. They're not gonna ask you, well, some, you know, Jehovah Witness and shit like that, but you know, for the most part, they're not gonna ask you, yo, you know what I'm saying? You teaching over there in your area where you at? Like, yo, why we go over there, man? You know, and we will never hear peace God over there. See, you know, other places you don't gotta do that, and people is not, the stakes is not as high for other people.
I feel for that barber.
Nah,
He saw me walking from afar, and you know, we not gonna say peace, God, to every black man. We're gonna say peace.
mm-hmm.
And he was just like, when I seen you, so many bad memories came back. Like, he was just
Yeah,
angry.
I mean,
I'm like, brother.
Here's the thing too that they leaving out now. If you want to talk about omission, right? Because you know, I've heard people talking, you know what I'm saying? And like for instance, there was a brother, right? He was a Muslim brother. And he was talking about how, yo, back in the days on the deuce, the guys used to be wild and, they was doing this, they was doing that and all of this, right? But here's the thing, bro. I don't remember it being no church boys on the deuce. Everybody on the deuce, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you didn't go to the deuce unless you was ready to get down. Like it was no, like, listen, everybody on the deuce is smoking, drinking, you know what I'm saying? If you catch somebody slipping, they're gonna get got. That was the deuce. Like, not just, I'm talking about that wasn't just a black thing. Everybody was on the deuce getting down. So for him to act like, to put, it was bro, what was you doing there? To see when a person say, yo, that brings back bad memories, like, yeah, well, I mean, what happened?
When I asked him where he was from in Queens, that's when it turned into, well, I spent some of my childhood here and there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look, brother, I'm not trying to interrogate you. I'm just trying to get clarity on what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And it just turned into him talking in circles. I'm like, look, never mind, brother. You gonna get your hair cut or what?
even that. Remember you said the brother, he came into the knowledge, right? And he just wanted to get girls. See, a lot of times people come into the knowledge and have the experience they was looking for, and that experience end up being more than they thought it was going to be. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that when I came into the knowledge, I already was doing all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? I didn't come into the knowledge I was already cool. You see what I'm saying? So when I came into the knowledge, I wanted to, I wanted my mind to be strong. So I went around the brothers that had strong minds. I went around the builders. Now, like going over there and learning with them, motherfuckers say, yeah, well, look, read this right here and give them a pull-up bar, let me get 5 cents. we stood that's how it was, right? So that's the experience that I had. There's other people who came in, right? And they wanted to be with the Wild Bunch. And so those are the brothers that you gravitated towards. Reading this, right? We come in the morning, right? We have a cipher. Let's say it's 25, 30 people, right? When that cipher breaks up, you got different people that you're closer with for whatever reason. Right? So, we start, when people leave, when they go, you go with the people that is going to do the things you want to do. You see what I'm saying? The brothers that don't want to go inside the school, they're headed towards the train station. The brothers that do want to go to school, they head inside. The brothers that's, they go, whatever it is, those group of brothers come together and do whatever they're doing. And then you get into that cipher, and like I said, it ended up being more than what you thought it was going to be. I just wanted to. I just wanted to know what the meaning of the lessons was and how I was going to apply it. And look, it ended up being more than what I thought it was going to be, right? But because I set out to do something that was positive from the jump, that's what I got out of it. But listen, there was other brothers. I mean, you say no name, but listen, there was other brothers, man, that if I would have maintained with them, yeah, I would have not, unless you was in the penitentiary too, you wouldn't have known. Right? But I didn't, those was, I know them and everything. But all of that's the sign. Let me tell you something, man. It's people that went out of their way. Like they was told to go home. And they went out of their way because that's what they wanted to be a part of. And then at the end, now you want to blame the nation for that. Nah, bro, you had that's who you decided to maintain with. And when we came to the rally, it's people from all over. It's people from all over. We can come in tune. We come in tune based on different things. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yo, all these brothers right here, they went to college and shit. You know, I just got my motherfucking acceptance letter back. You know, so let me go over there and build with the brothers, man, see what they might have to add on about that. You said 19 keys is just a Muslim. I thought he was in. No, I thought he was. Well, he do wear that the crown like Elijah Muhammad. I did notice that too. But no, I thought he was one of Dr. York's kids. That's why I never listened to a whole episode from him. So I really can't critique him, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, because just my personal kind of observation is that see, Dr. York and his nation, he took them through every incarnation. You know what I'm saying? Meaning when I met them, they was Muslims. They was Muslims. And they turned, I think, Hebrews. Yeah, they turned to Hebrews at some point. Like, I think they was calling themselves like Islamic Hebrews or something. I can't recall specifically. And then they turned Egyptian, right? I think when they turned Hebrews, they left from Bushwick and went upstate somewhere. And then when they turned Egyptian, they left from there and went down to Georgia. Yeah. And then over the time, they've been indigenous, they've been Moorish, they've been Christian, they've been everything. So if you notice, right, you see his former students all over appearing to be great scholars. And I think that one of the reasons for that is because they've studied everybody's signs at one time or another. You know what I'm saying? So, if you look at Sinetta's channel, you see a lot of them there. You know what I'm saying? Different things. They're able to kind of blend in with all the different nations, Of course, we always make sure that we say out front full disclosure. I'm biased, but it doesn't work quite as well over here. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to show and prove. So, that makes it a little bit more difficult. And the other thing is that, like I said, and I always gave him credit for that, the Ansars was in the street. Like, wherever you went, you saw them out there doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm biased, so they wasn't having the impact we was having, but they was in the building. You know what I'm saying? Uh, they I mean, that's what I've seen, is that their ability to kind of go into the history and science of any group of people, you see them basically kind of, it's even kind of the same formula that he used. So he speaks on Fard a lot, as well as Elijah, and he'll bring up supreme wisdom lessons. Yeah, it's
my old dad, he lived in Bushwick houses.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this little pamphlet that I got because I went to high school downtown Brooklyn, And my freshman year, my school was on 50 Navy Street. So that was in the middle of Fort Greene and Farragut projects. When you came around the corner on that McDonald's, you had to pass Tillery Park. So I had this little pamphlet that a brother gave me. I was walking down Fulton, and they used to have a bookstore in Bushwick, my old dad. And you messing with that stuff. He didn't really know what it was. He just going off a hearsay from his experiences coming up. Because, you know, Bushwick houses, if you go across Broadway, you got Tompkins, Sumner. So his experience with the 5% was different. He came across them brothers when he was coming up in the 70s and 80s. So he felt a certain way about it from brothers that he came across in his immediate area.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, like I said, it's with everything else, man. Like you can't, you know, like right now, right? If we was to say, well, look, you know, the highest percentage of people in the penitentiary right now is Christians. You know what I'm saying? And we was to judge all of Christianity by that, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, people would take these kind of anecdotal experiences, right? And then here's the thing too. Those people that he experienced, we don't even know who the hell they are. Like he could have came across some people that had the knowledge for 8 days. And whatever experience he had with them, he felt like, yeah, you know, that's who and what the 5% is. So, you know, with these things, man, you know, I don't know. But I just know that you know, getting back to what's the name, is that these is the questions you gotta ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? These is the things, this is what I'm saying, because look, don't waste your time. You know, if something else is for you, if something else is gonna provide better solutions for you, to do that. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm from the school of, you know, look, I'd rather you be, you know, real with whoever you are than for you to be a fake 5%. You know what I'm saying? We don't do conversion therapy. We don't proselytize. You know what I'm saying? If this is you, you know, if this is you, then be you. You know what I'm saying? If it's not, then be you. What is this stuff? So, what video are you giving us the signs on? Well, we were speaking. It's a few videos that's I became aware of. Some of them is actually they very recent. Like some of them is out for a matter of days. You know, but people speaking on, you know, Allah justice in the 5%, and in the midst of them speaking on Allah justice in the 5%, one of the things that was interesting to me was them telling the story of their experience, right, of coming into the 5% and being a 5%, you know, and it, you know, really stuck out to me, the contrast, and you know, just from day one, you know, that I came around the brothers, you know, and I heard, you know what I'm saying, it was God and everything, but I didn't jump out the window, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was, you know, one of the brothers. I wasn't a follower even in that group of people when I was at 85, where I'm going to get the knowledge just because they got the knowledge. You know, when I saw the truth for myself, you know, enough of it to know that was for me, that was when I made my decision. You see what I'm saying? And so because of that, it's, you know, it's not easy for me to, you know, as a, you know, where other people might say, yo, you know, I ran into some trials and tribulations. And so then I thought that the 5% wasn't the way, because, you know, for me, you know, that wasn't the case, because, you know, I came in, you know, from the conclusion of weighing and judging everything. You know what I'm saying? You know, other experiences that he had, but ultimately, you know, just getting to the point where, you know, the difference in, he was talking about 1975 when Elijah returned, and you have people talking like that now, right? For instance, you have people saying, you have people saying, well, what's going to happen to the Muslims when Farrakhan is gone, right? See, that's what happens to followers, right? And one of the questions I ask is, okay, is that true discipline? Where you're a disciplined follower, right? You're a regimented follower, but when the leader is gone, you don't know what to do, right? Or when the leader is gone, you stray into some other thing. Is that really discipline, or is it discipline, right? When you hold the principle, no matter what the circumstance. Everybody, yeah, you're gonna get hard, you're gonna get hit hard, right? You might lose your balance. See, we got hit hard when the law returned.
When you look at it, it's like they didn't learn. When you go through experience in life, you're supposed to learn. So they asking the same question that was asked in 75 at this year. What's gonna happen with Farrakhan? I'm like, y'all about to repeat the same? Y'all about to collapse again?
Yeah, when you a follower though, you don't learn. You just repeat.
You just looking who next.
Yeah. You understand what I mean? So this is the question that they gotta have, right? You know what I'm saying? Now look, I saw Elijah Muhammad on, I think it was Meet the Press. And this is like in the early 70s, like 1971, 72, right? And they say to him, they say, yo, look, Elijah, you're getting up there in age and everything, and you haven't named a successor. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the leader after you're gone? And he said, look, after I'm gone, my people ain't going to need no leader. Like what I taught them right now, after I'm gone, they're going to just do what they need to do. They don't need nobody telling them what to do after that. And so, that was one of the things, I guess you could say it kind of gave me that question that, we're constantly the ones that's spoken of not having discipline. But we've been the same since 1964, my G. That takes some discipline, especially, when it's coming to us from people who never maintained a discipline. When the going got rough, they all broke ranks. But just in general, because it's not necessarily about condemning them, but just to say, ask yourself, are you doing it because you weighed it and judged it? And you concluded that this is something for you, or you doing it because everybody else is doing it? Or you doing it because you like Wu-Tang or Brand New? Or you doing it because you want to get grocery because that's the experience you're going to have? Are you really a follower? You got to ask yourself, man, why you did this for? See, when I got the knowledge, they just ask you that. What you want the knowledge for? What you going to do with it? So, there's that part of you, just being honest and true with yourself. And then there's the other aspect. of, you know, are you creating followers when you teach? You know, are you creating followers? You know, are you just filling this person up with all your bullshit you want to tell them that make you look good, right? Or are you bringing anything out of them? Are you giving them tools? Or you just give them your wisdom and understanding? Because you know, you got some people that's all they do, they just repeat. You repeat something that a great man said, and that's nothing wrong with that. But do you know what it means? What it meant to him, what it means to you, what it meant in that time, what it means in this time. You know, so yeah, in the next, you know, we'll see if we get it in there tomorrow. I ain't sure we're gonna get it in there tomorrow, but in the next couple of days, right? Y'all can tell this computer's a little bit, took us a while to get online how we're supposed to be, right? But in the next week or two, right, we're gonna watch a couple of excerpts, you know, for these videos. You know, if y'all, some of y'all may not be, because like the brother said, you know, all of them are not referring to Allah by his proper name. What's going on here?
That fire alarm went about 4 hours.
Yeah, and she, you know, in the fire alarm one, you know, to me, what was a little bit bugged is that he used a storytelling device that, to me, it threw people off. You know what I'm saying? Like, the storytelling device he used was to kind of, you know, villainize Allah a little bit, and then kind of, you know, rehabilitate his character, you know what I mean? But in the villainized part, first of all, you said a lot of things that just was inaccurate. You know, a lot of things that, like I said, look, I ain't gonna argue with you about what may or may not have been said in the 60s. But, you know, when you say things like Allah held a grudge against Malcolm, I never heard that. I've never heard nobody say nothing like that. You know, and as he's speaking about, you know, there may be being bad blood between them, you never bring up, or at least not, because I ain't see the whole thing yet. I saw maybe about 2.5 hours, but you didn't bring up that Malcolm X himself said in his book, right? He spoke very highly of us in his own words in his book. So where are you getting all this other stuff from that there was any kind of bad blood between them? Now, eventually, like I said, 2.5 hours in, he had somebody else come out and speak and say, "Oh no, those two was, yeah, they both spoke very highly of each other, you know." But they, you know, he had his thing to do. He had his thing to do. But yeah, they definitely was with, you know, what Allah was doing.
So the other one I saw is only about a half hour.
Huh?
The other one I saw is only about a half hour.
Yeah, there's some shorter ones. You know, we're gonna look at a couple of them. Listen, some of these ones, you know, is they got the brother Leon Muhammad from out of Philadelphia, Captain Leon. He's speaking like, yeah, he knows who shot it. I ain't even look at that one yet. I'm talking about he's naming names. You know, so you know, why exactly, you know, we became so interested in everybody all of a sudden, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you know, those aspects of it was intriguing to me. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, you had you know, quite a bit of people speaking on you know, they experienced either, you know, with 5% or as 5%. And I think it's interesting, uh, because I never took that journey. So I don't know what it is to, you had the knowledge and then, you get disenchanted with it and then you do whatever. You understand what I mean? See, I think one of the reasons for that is that I had already lost that Christian idea that there's anybody magical in the sky that loves me. See, I was already totally, yes, I mean, so see, that's what it comes down to, is that real life, right? You as the reality of you as the Black man is never going to live up to that fantasy from religions. So if you still believe in that fantasy from religion, then you're always going to have that question. Yeah, but how could you be God though? Because but you only the soul and the planet Earth is that old. So how could you be God? See that yo, if you God, then make a butterfly, God, make a rose. How did the fish get gills, God?
I remember one of my classmates told me that. I just told him,
Yeah, I heard all this dumb shit before.
why I gotta do something that's already done?
Not just that, but how can you disqualify me based on the criteria that you've never seen before?
Do you even know the process of things?
Yeah.
I remember being outside.
See, here's the thing.
My cousin, my
Here's the
family
thing.
lived in Orangeburg, South Carolina, my grandmother family. And my cousin, it rained, and my cousin, he told me, come outside, the ground on fire. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If a Christian person come and tell you that, right? Bro, I'm not your guy. Why don't you tell a motherfucker you pray to all the time and put your money in their basket, tell them to make a fucking butterfly. And then right after they do it, I'm next. How about that? See, you can't do, when have you seen your guy do that in order for you to disqualify me? Don't tell me he did it 1,000 years ago. Tell him to do it right now like you just told me to do it right now. See, I don't believe this stuff because either lady, and something is gonna happen and you're gonna cry out Jesus' name. Yeah, and I shouldn't be mocking people, but listen, man, I heard all this stuff, bro. I don't believe in this stuff. What is so? Just in general, it's which I always take shots at y'all anyway, but I'm serious about that. Those of y'all, look, ask yourself, are you a follower? Ask yourself, man, are you teaching or are you creating followers? Do you want to teach brothers and sisters or do you want to create followers? Because that's very lucrative. And then, if you find yourself in there, see, because that's what I like. Look at, you know what? That's how we're gonna end this up. That's how we're gonna end this up. Because look, ever since my born day, I make it serious. But look, I'm tell you, and this might come as a shock to some people, but I've been being nice for fucking decades, man. Don't want this Mr. Nice Guy. Some people need to go, man. We're not gonna do them like Yakub and send them back. They need to get the fuck out of here. Because the chain is only what? As strong as its weakest link. Supreme Islam of Love Victory. Or Las Vegas. I'm about to say Love Victory. Yeah, but yes, it's at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's just me. You know, that I'm at that time where it's like, like I'm starting to see people come around talking about that. It was like, all right, look, I'm not gonna get involved with you talking about that. Like we got things to do, right? To show and prove that we not followers, right? Because, like I said, you gotta have something you put on the map. See, you could be a good follower and tell me about what the law put on the map, and the firstborn put on the map, and the 20, which I call it, what is it? The 23 scientists bullshit y'all be talking now. What they put on the map, you can tell what you put on it. Otherwise, we cease to exist. See, look at all these other places, right? I could be looking at that. I was looking at that too about the different empires, right? And if you look over the course of like the last 2,000 years, right? All of those great empires, probably besides England, and you might consider France, right? All of them is doing real bad now. Like the Mongolians doing bad. Greeks doing bad. Italians not doing too good.
That's definitely true. Outside of what they show on TV, major parts of Greece are in poverty.
Yeah. And see, we can end up like that too. If you know what I'm saying, we the only the Greeks is not going to save us. The Canadians is not going to save us. You know, the Eskimos, the Pacific Islanders, only we can do it. And so motherfuckers got to be qualified saviors, man. They can't just be dudes that want to kick the willy with us, man. They can't just be dudes that got some equality or whatever the fuck they doing, man. They can't just be dudes that, they got a couple rhymes on the mic. You know, listen, everybody at their stage of growth and development. Say you do, but look, I'm at my stage of growth and development too, where I'm not going to be dealing with that. I'm not going to be dealing with those people, you see, and I know how to get rid of people. I know exactly how. But anyway, we about to raise up off of here. Like I said, we're gonna do our best to make it on tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to get those excerpts prepared for us because, like I said, we got it's about 4 different videos. One of them I haven't even looked at yet. Like I said, the one where the brother said that he knows who shot Allah. I mean, that to me is yeah. I don't where we go with that one, but we gonna check it out. You know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, West Coast Wise got a good thing going on his channel right now. Last time I was on here, they was quoting 120 lessons. I'm not gonna tell y'all who, but some people need to some people need to get assigned to KP. But that's a whole other story. But that's the kind of thing, you know what I'm saying, that solidifies this, you know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of times that's why you ain't learning that from the lessons. because you ain't building on it. You know, like if you just learn it as a set of beings, like, you know, I learned the pledges of allegiance, right? I don't really learn that from it because I don't be saying it. You know, you're not dealing with all different perspectives. But like I said, in the meantime, between time, we're gonna sign out and say peace. You know, we only have a few people in here today, but that's good. You know what I mean? Because we don't want all those followers coming in here, right? We don't want all those followers coming in here and then repeating what I said. Let them live their shit out over there. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna sign off and say peace and get back with y'all tomorrow.
Peace. Yeah, I'm gonna do the knowledge to this half hour one.
All right, no doubt. Peace.
Peace.